Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Press Box. Brian Carson here with my co-host Kenny Varner. Kenny, how you doing, bud?
Hanging in there, Brian. How about yourself?
Yeah, you got the COVID, huh?
Yeah, got it early. Got it over with, I guess, for the season. So, on the other end of it now. So,
That's good. That's
yeah.
good. And we're happy to have a good buddy is a brotherhood. You know, when you cover wrestling, it's a brotherhood. It's a family type thing. We got Nate Cobler. He's covers Penn State high school wrestling for the CDT. Do you do anything else for them?
Yeah, I mean, I do high school football and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
And high school football.
Yep.
Nate, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Let's start with the bad news right off the bat. Almost everybody that listens to our show, Penn State wrestling fans, and the bad news is Kale yesterday said Shane Van Ness is out for the season, which really sucks. But Tyler Kasich, Bethlehem Catholic kid, had a great high school career. He's not Van Ness, but he's gonna take over at 149. Tell me, you were at the press conference. Tell me your thoughts, what Kale was saying, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a side of Kale we haven't really seen before. He was real beat up about it. Because obviously, a kid like Shane Van Ness, he's likable. He's a likable guy. He's real cool. When we talked to him, just last week we were talking to him, and he was saying about, how excited he was for this season, and he had a motto, Shane Stomps. And he was really looking forward to what was going to unveil and happen this year for himself. And now it's out the window. But Kale, like I said, he was we were kind of getting ready to wrap up our portion of the media day with him, because then we get some guys afterwards, and he kind of sprung it on us and was just like, yeah, he goes, we got some bad news that we found out that Shane Van Ness isn't going to be available for the rest of the year. And, he just said it was real gut wrenching, and, it just sucked, like you just said. But it's one of those things where, when you're in a sport like wrestling, injuries are inevitable, so it's just something that he'll have to get over. He'll go through, get surgery done, he'll get recovery. And, we were talking a little bit before coming on here that, he'll probably get a medical red shirt, so he'll get an extra year, here at Penn State. So see how that all unveils and goes forward. And but yeah, Tyler Kasich, like you said, he's no Shane Van Ness by no means, but when you're a team like Penn State, where you don't rebuild, you reload every year.
Yeah.
It could be a blessing and a curse at the same time. So. Will be interesting to see how he handles it and goes forward.
Did Kale say anything about Kasich?
We were asking him, we said, hey, he said we got a couple guys that are there that could to fill it up, and he mentioned Kasich, and he mentioned David Evans and kid for, I think it's Harbor Creek, Connor Pierce, and so he said that he felt that those three could do that. He mentioned too that Kasich was cutting decent amount of weight to get down to 141. So, maybe again, this is a blessing and a curse where now, he might not have to worry about cutting any weight, and, he can show what he can do at that weight.
Yeah, if he was cutting a significant amount, that sometimes you're right. That can be a benefit where you don't have to have that stress of trying to cut weight so much.
Yeah. I mean, even a guy like, you look at a guy like Aaron Brooks. We got to talk to him the very first media day a couple weeks ago, and he was telling us about his move to 97 is a blessing, I guess you could say, because he said that it was tough. Being at nationals, being at the upper weight, he didn't get done and out of the arena till maybe 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Maybe not getting to sleep till about 1 or 2, and then had to be back up the next morning to try to wrestle in some things and stuff like that. So now he doesn't have to do as much of a weight cut and things like that. So So we'll see how something like that, helps with a guy like Aaron Brooks.
I mean, they are a loaded team, but this wasn't a blow to them winning the national championship with what they have. But, everybody, the expectations are so high, everybody was saying, can they top 170, what Iowa did? Now I think that's legitimately in question.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Because before the Van Ness injury, you were talking that Penn State could have 8 finalists from 141 back to the lineup. And, now with the Van Ness injury, there's still a possibility for, 7 with Bartlett at 41 and then the rest of the guys from 57 on up. But, anything can happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You have a guy in Mitchell Masonbrink who looks like he's the real deal.
Yeah.
165. The chips have to fall where they're going to fall, and if they fall in your favor, then hey, great. And if you're at your top of your game, then you should have no problems. But again, it's why it's the saying goes, that's why they wrestle.
Yeah. I want to get your opinion on this since you're an insider. I believe I watched on the stream. I watched Journeyman. I watched the Black Knight. I think Braden Davis should be the 25-pounder. I know he's a true freshman, but Robert Howard, I don't know. He just doesn't. He still looks like he's injured, to be honest. Those two events, he didn't shoot, hardly moved anywhere, any movement at all. And it was just like he was waiting to counter everybody. He really looked bland. And Davis is out there like a spark plug. What are your thoughts? And second part of the question, what are you hearing about 25?
Well, I mean, I'll answer the second part of that question now. And that is that, we asked Cale, were we going to see Robbie Howard this weekend? And he blatantly come straight out and said, no, probably not. So it's kind of weird because just, I want to say last week or the week prior to that, Cale was saying about how the staff knew what they had, knew that he was going to need matches coming into this year because of the layoff that he's had. And that, they want to give a kid that they've been with for so long now every opportunity that they can, to compete. And it seems like it's turned. And you had Gary Steen come out and wrestle as the lead guy against Lehigh on Sunday. So I don't know. It's a shame, because Robbie Howard looked really good, coming in as a freshman out of Bergen Catholic there. And,
yeah.
And of course, here we go. We talk about injuries, and that's what's been the case with him. It's been shoulders. It's been, a knee. So, it's one of those things where you got to press on. And, to go to your first part of your question, Braden Davis looks for real. I mean, we saw him, go through and beat Ethan Bergnack, however you say his last name there from Army, the Black Knight invite at the 125 finals. And, he went through and he's had a perfect year so far, and he's scored bonus points, which is what Cale and them preach. And so maybe with the Van Ness injury, brings in the idea of having Davis be the guy at 25, because you got to, 125 ain't as strong. We've seen that already this year. Yeah,
exactly.
Matt Ramos going and losing to a high school kid in a tournament from Purdue, kid from Purdue, and then Anthony Noto from Lock Haven, who was number one, turns around and gets beat by Ramos in the NWCA All-Star Classic. So, if you put Davis in, it's like you said, he's like a spark plug. Well, he could be a spark plug to this lineup.
Yep.
And fill that, what we like to say, or we've been saying, is the Nick Suriano curse at 125 for Penn State.
Exactly, but I don't know if he'll go at 25, but that'll change when Lilladall gets there.
Yeah. Like I said, they don't rebuild, they reload. So
I cannot wait to see that. I don't know if you did. I know you're a busy guy. Iron Man pre-seeds came out, and Lilladall and Jax Forrest are at the same weight.
yeah, I saw.
That's gonna be a killer match.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, they got to wrestle, so they both got to get there first. But
yeah,
I
think they will.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. So,
but honestly, and I would never second guess him. Kale knows forgotten more about wrestling than I'll ever know. But I was actually surprised at Lehigh Steen coming out. Not because of Robbie Howard, because of Davis. Because Davis, was it Journeyman or was it Black Knight where he majored Gary Steen?
Yeah, it was the I think it was Journeyman is where he.
Yeah, he majored him.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised he didn't show up.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was quite surprised. I mean, not only to see Robbie Howard not be in the lineup, but to see Gary Steen in the lineup after seeing what we saw with Davis.
Yeah.
So, it was rather, head scratching, but Cale Sanderson is there and we're here. So
exactly. Be prognosticator. No, you're going to be covering their wrestling Hofstra. Do you think we'll see them at 25?
I mean, you kind of, again, I think it kind of just goes back to, does the Van Ness injury spark anything? As far as outside of that weight class, 149 weight class. And so, I mean, after seeing what Steen did and what you've seen Steen do all last year, and you're kind of you're telling us that Robbie Howard ain't going to go.
Yeah.
Again, Cale's there. We're here. If I was the coach.
I do think it's worth putting them out there, though, because the only question about Penn State Hofstra is, will Hofstra win a match?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you got to cover it. How do you, I mean, I've done it in high school, but how do you cover a college snooze fest like that, where you told me before off the stream about how, and people don't realize that if they're not in this business that we're in, how hard it is to keep writing about how somebody wins every night.
Yeah, it's one of those things when people ask what I do and I tell them what I do. They're like, oh, that's got to be so awesome. I'm like, yeah, it is. But you can only, I said, it's also boring and sucks at the same time. I said, because you can only write about winning in so many different ways. I said, so, but, it comes with the territory, but at the same time, this weekend, my preview story I wrote, it's basically, who's wrestling for Penn State? Because nobody knows, because with the senior nationals right around the corner, we don't know. Nobody knows. Because it's so up in the air.
Yeah, he could put the B team out there and win.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
They're so deep. They really are.
Yeah.
All you had to do was look at Journeyman and Black Knight. What they were doing. They had guys meeting each other in the finals.
Right. Yep.
But the other thing about newspapers, we'll go back to we'll deviate 1 second, is that I don't like anymore being an old guy, is these ridiculous GD deadlines now. Everybody wants everything. I did a football game and it's like, what's your deadline? 10:30? What? 10:30?
Yeah.
The game gets over about 9:30 and you got to do a box plus a story.
Yeah.
In an hour, it's got to be a pretty shitty story. I mean, just hurry up and pump it out.
Yeah.
When I was going full time, not stringing at the Sentinel, our deadline on Friday Night Football was like 12:30.
Yeah.
It was a dream.
Yep.
You got that too, don't you? Oh, up there at the CDT.
Well, I mean, with us,
the deadlines.
It's unique. Yeah, I mean, it's unique. We have we have, of course, an e-edition that goes out, and we have what's called a dynamic edition that basically stories that are big enough that can't make the newspaper the next day. They go online and they go into like a an electronic version of a newspaper per se, but it's like it gives you the first bit of the story that you can click on. It brings you to it to read it. It still has some pictures and stuff too with it, but the deadlines, with a lot of papers around the area, they've stopped having Saturday papers, things like that. And, for things to go into our Sunday paper, they got to be in by 3:00 on Friday. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So it's that's why, again, I'm writing that Penn State story tonight, that preview story. So that way it's ready for that 3:00 deadline for Friday, because I got a full-time job during the day. So that's where, I have to kind of prioritize and get things done that I need to get done in a timely manner to hit those deadlines.
Wow. All right, back to Penn State a second. He's so damn good, and I didn't think it was possible. But Starachi is wrestling at a completely insane level that I have never seen, even from him. It is just awesome. I mean, it is sickening in a good way. Yeah. I mean, what are your perceptions of that? Because he's just destroying guys. I mean, I know Lawrence. Everybody's going to go, wow, so what, Lawrence? But he had pedigree. This dude was a 3-time state champ at Frazier, and he toyed with them.
Yep.
Mekhi Lewis, I know you were there for that. He's limping and sucking air, and Carter's coming right at him. It is insane.
Yeah, we asked Carter. We asked Carter after the All-Star match. We said, "Were you trying?" Because it was right before Thanksgiving. We said, "Were you trying to take his leg home as a trophy?" Or and he said, "He goes, yeah." He goes, "I was going to take it home. I was going to put it in with the turkey so it didn't get all dry." And we're just like, "Holy cow!" But yeah, he's something else. Carter is something else. I mean, he's a guy that people don't like him for what he says and what he does, but when you're talking the talk and you're walking the walk to back up that talk, how can you not like that? I guess.
Yeah, that's just confidence.
Yes, and like you said, we got to see him a couple of times in Altoona for the North Championships, and he's head and shoulders of where he was as a high school wrestler.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, you knew he was good. You knew he was good.
Yeah.
You knew eventually he was going to be a state champ. Yeah. But it was like, did you expect this from him in college? Right. I'll be honest, no. I
mean, he was one of the last ones to commit in his class, because I don't know that he had a whole bunch of offers or anything. So,
do you think that's from what's there in the room with him, and the coaches and the guys that can come in? Varner's there, David Taylor's there.
I mean, how could it not be? You walk in. Anybody that knows anything about wrestling, whether you were in wrestling, as a wrestler yourself, or, you follow the sport casually, or enough to know guys like Kyle Dake and David Taylor and Kyle Snyder and Jake Varner, I could go on and on and on, and to have them walk by you in the hallway, you're just like, wow. And that's from somebody that's not even an athlete. That's somebody that's there to cover the athletes.
Yeah, I guess they're okay. Coaches, I guess.
Yeah.
And I love that Carter, man, he must be hanging out with Zane Rutherford with that bow and arrow. I'm telling you, that's a killer.
I mean, he just kind of started it this year, but but at the same time, there's a thing with Carter that, everybody, he says about, this is his last year, him and Aaron, and he made a comment about how, this team might be better next year with him and Aaron being gone. And I just am in the back of my mind thinking, knowing how Carter Starachi is in his, his mindset, if he goes and wins a 4th national title this year, he says he wants to be the best. Well, how do you not want to try to come back and be
5.
the only one and only 5-time?
I know. I don't know whatever's in his mind, but I know me, being how I would, if I was that good, I would want to be the only guy to win 5.
Right.
That would be something.
Now, and then you're going to have people that are going to say, well, wait, there's, Carlton Hasselrig had 6. Well, yes. Carlton Hasselrig had 6, but it was 3 at D2 and 3 at D1.
We should tell the younger guys that don't know. Back then, up until it was like the late 80s or early 90s, Division II champions, and I think it was runner-ups, were allowed to wrestle in the Division I tournament. That's why Hasselrig won 6.
Right.
Not that he wasn't good,
right.
but I don't know if he'd have won 5.
No. I mean, but at that time, there wouldn't have been 5.
No.
Because there wasn't a drastic world, stoppage from a virus.
Unless that happens again, there's never going to be a 5-timer.
Correct.
That's why I would come back and do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not him.
Right.
But I mean, the other thing I think changed with him also is the attitude. I mean, he was confident, but not like he is now. I interviewed him, never in college, but I interviewed him a couple times in high school. And he was not like that as far as like, I'm going to tear you apart. I mean,
yeah. I talked to him, would have been his senior year, because I talked to him at regionals there in Altoona, and he wasn't like he is now.
No.
So, I mean, but again, when you see a transition in yourself where you went from where you were to where you are now, and you're doing what you're doing now, you'd probably exude the same amount of confidence.
But how long have you been covering them?
This is year number 8.
All right. But here's my thing, and I want everybody listening out there to be totally damn honest about this is what Penn State can do when you go there. Did anybody in their right mind think that Zane Rutherford was going to be what he was? No. Not at all. Even though I don't live in Texas, Bo Nichols recruited, and the only thing I said was, a kid from Texas? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
He'll never get in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that you could honestly say David Taylor had that true pedigree, 4-timer from Ohio, and was like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 recruit in the nation. But some of these guys, Rutherford, Jason Nolf, I love Jason Nolf. I didn't think he was going to do what he did in college. I just didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
and that tells you everything you need to know about that coaching staff there.
You could throw Vincenzo Joseph in there too.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, Vincenzo, my God.
Mm-hmm.
He was okay.
Yep.
In high school.
He never won a Big Ten title, but was able to get a national title.
I would rather have the national.
Yep.
Heck with Big Ten.
You take a guy like, not to cut you off, you take a guy like Anthony Cassar. Never made his state tournament until his senior year of high school. Then his senior year at Penn State, he goes and wins the national championship.
Isn't that amazing? And then the other thing about Cassar, the only guy to ever beat Gable Steveson in college. Twice.
Wow.
He deserves a medal for that. So, yeah, they just turn around. Now, there's been a couple, like we said, David Taylor. Mark Hall was the number 1 recruit in the nation when he came out. But
well, and you got to look at, too, like you have you talk about they have guys that, they might not become national champions, right? but you got a guy like Terrell Barraclaw.
Yeah.
Who, you know, and they pluck these guys from like Utah, which of course, because Kale and them have their connections there in Utah.
Yeah.
You know, Lucas Cochran, who went and wrestled on Sunday against Lehigh because Brooks was out. I never heard of Lucas Cochran until he wrestled in. It was one of those things during, I think, the COVID year when they had those high school matchups at the C3 Sports Complex here in State College, up in State College, where Cochran wrestled. I want to say it was Cole Urbis from State College.
Wow.
Or somebody
Nice.
somebody else from around here. I just can't remember who it was, but you know. But you know, here you're talking about the pedigree and David Taylor, but now they're starting to get those guys with the pedigree.
Yeah.
So
And
where do those
I think
guys
the big
go
difference too. Sorry, somebody asked me like, "What do you think? Well, why couldn't?" I mean, we're decent with Rich Lorenzo, John Fritz, even Sunderland and them. Why now? And I was like, "This Kale, with his name, can recruit everywhere." The Lorenzo years, if you look, it was basically we could get Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, and New Jersey. Now, Rowan Bravo Young, Arizona, Bo Nickel, Texas, Braden Davis, and Josh Barr, Michigan. I mean, all over. Anybody he wants, he can. I mean, really wants, he can get.
Yeah. I mean, we talked to Aaron Nagao the first media day, and he said it. Who wouldn't want that call from Kale Anderson saying, "Hey, I want you on my team"? Like,
yeah,
who wouldn't? So, like I said, that just goes to your point that he can recruit anywhere. So,
yeah, about that Lehigh match, I'm starting to believe the press on Crookham. Arajal goes down. Now Nagao goes down. That kid, we saw him, you and I, at States when he was Notre Dame Green Pond and then Saucon Valley. So you knew he was something, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was throwing a tantrum and things like that when somebody, after he beat Vito Arujá, they put him at automatically number one in our rankings. I don't remember who it was. I don't think it. I don't want to. It wasn't Flo. I think it was another wrestling people that put him number one. And so in Intermat, which is what I use, when I'm doing my ratings and stuff, because to me that seems to be the most consistent one.
Yeah, I think it's the one, if I'm not mistaken, that NCAA recognizes the coaches.
Correct. So, like, he was 5 at Intermat. Okay, give him that without a doubt. And then he comes and does what he did against Nagao. Then it's like, okay, yes, go ahead, throw him one now because without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But talk about, I mean, this coming up, this 2024 class that they have recruited. Some people are saying that it could be the best recruiting class ever in college wrestling history, with Lilladol, Sealy, Ryder. I mean, it's just, wow. Mason Gibson.
Yeah, the Mirazola twins from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Talking about recruiting all over the place. I mean, the thing is yes, it's great you can get all these types of guys, right? But will they, A, stay patient enough till their spot opens up? And B, do they fill out to where it fits Penn State's lineup?
Right. And
because again, you can get all this talent that you want.
Can't fit everybody into
but if you can't get people in, and with this name, image, and likeness stuff nowadays, I mean, granted, it's not on the football level where you're paying $1.5 to $2 million for a quarterback for Matt Rule at Nebraska, but look what Penn State just did this offseason. They got Bernie Truax, they got Mitchell Messenbrink, they got Aaron Nagao.
Yeah, good stuff.
Who's to say that doesn't happen somewhere else?
Right.
because these guys don't want to sit and wait their turns.
And then looking ahead in 25, PJ Duke. I have watched a lot of PJ Duke, and that kid, oh my God. I can't wait to see him in a Penn State singlet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, I go back to what I've always said. They don't rebuild, they reload. That's what a mantra, that's what a motto could be for Penn State
So
wrestling.
what would give us a little inside? What did you write about today at will your headline be, can Hofstra win a match?
Nope. I'll answer that headline for you. Nope.
No.
But they could, depending on who Penn State throws out there, because
Absolutely.
the U.S. Senior Nationals are next week in Texas for one of the last chances for a person to qualify for the Olympic team trials, which will be in State College in April at the Bridge Gordon Center. So Penn State, they're trying to get as many guys qualified for that as possible, because why not? It's in your backyard, you know? So Cale said last week that the lineup would definitely be affected against Hofstra. I sat down and the story I wrote, I said, we already know about Robbie Howard. Cale come out and said Robbie Howard ain't going this weekend, so that leaves Gary Steen and Braden Davis at 125. You look at Nagao and Bartlett at 33 and 41. Well, they both had successful careers internationally wrestling. So they might not go. 49 with the news of Van Ness and Kasich coming in. You'd have to think that Kasich's probably going to be staying put to get some more matches under his belt.
Yeah.
For the year. 57, Levi was saying about how his plans are still up in the air of whether or not he's going to go. So, could have Levi there on Sunday. Mason Brink at 65. Really, the story is who's going to wrestle for Penn State?
Yeah. And well, this is a good time. Cale can let those guys do that because, as we said, he can beat Hofstra with his B team.
Yeah.
It'll be close. It might be closer, the scores, but he could still dominate them.
Yeah, and that's what's so weird about this year is you look at Penn State's schedule when it came out, they didn't have a dole until December. Yeah. And that was the first time since 2003 that they never had a dole season start until December. It only comes every 4 years, the Olympics, that is. And so when you have the program that Penn State has with the wrestling club, having guys like Kyle Dake and David Taylor and Jake Varner and keep going on and on, the success breeds success. And so, fortunately for the college program, they don't have to, they only have to worry about this every 4 years. So,
yeah. All right, let's switch gears because you do high school wrestling too. You have Penns Valley coming up.
Yep.
Against Clearfield.
Yep. Tomorrow night.
Should be a good one. Clearfield, solid team. Penns Valley, I believe, didn't they get to the District 6 finals, Kenny?
No, they lost.
That's right, semis. It was Bald Eagle and United. Right? No. United and Huntington. Okay.
Yeah.
In Penns Valley's gym, and Huntington or Penns Valley and Bald Eagle were wrestling for third.
If you're listening, John Mikett, I'm sorry I disrespected Huntington. I didn't mean to. So, they got Colton Shunk. Ty Watson's going in his last go-round. Penns Valley seems to always be a pretty well-balanced, solid team. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, they're gritty. They'll battle you out till the end. They didn't lose a whole lot last year. They only had 2 or 3 seniors, I think. And so now they had their 3 state qualifiers who were Shunk and Watson, like you just said, but also Jack Darlington. Darlington. And all 3 of them are seniors now this year. So they have all 3 of those guys, but then they also have the the bulk of the team that was there last year that was the number 1 seed for the district playoffs back this year. So, you add in a couple of, some freshmen here and there and some sophomores that, maybe didn't crack the lineup last year. And again, you could be looking at maybe being the number 1 seed again.
It should be a good one because Clearfield with Brady Collins, they have Carter Chamberlain.
Yeah,
should be a good dual meet. You're gonna get.
That I think somebody told me. Well, I think it was Watson because he's obviously going to Penn State.
Penn State.
He's committed to Penn State, and I saw him at the duel on Sunday, and he said that Clearfield's ranked 10th in the state. I didn't get a chance. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but Clearfield's supposed to be ranked 10th in the state.
I'm sure Penns Valley's ranked too.
Yeah, but they're probably not. They're not that high. I wouldn't think.
No,
But still.
So, yeah. Now I know because you got to balance it out with Penn State. Do you? Is it in your schedule to? I don't know. I don't remember this. Do you cover AA districts in that at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I want to get your thoughts on this.
I think I know where you're heading.
You were gonna get to see this super team known as Bishop McCourt. All they do on their team is got a couple world champions, Super 32 champions.
Yeah, as 8th graders.
And so. But what are your thoughts on that completely? I mean, the one thing I want to give McCourt credit for is I did read that they asked the PIAA if they could go up to AAA.
So it's obviously a touchy situation. It's a touchy matter that nobody likes to discuss because it's a lose-lose situation any way you look at it. The way I look at it, supposedly, I think I read in the off season in the summer or something, McCourt wanted to go prep. And the PIAA wouldn't let him because I think they wanted to try to go prep for wrestling only.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But then it turned into what you've read, what you've seen, and what I've seen, which was them wanting to now to go up to AAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is if you have no school district boundary, you shouldn't be competing against district boundary schools. You look at the we'll just say basketball. We'll say PIAA basketball for an example. What do you see as the final teams of those classifications? It's Saint this or Bishop that or
or private schools like Newman Peretti and
correct
things like that.
Correct. Now you not only do you have McCourt, but you also now have the addition of Faith Christian Academy.
Oh my God, yeah.
And what they have got going on. Now, in the State College area, St. Joseph's Catholic had a team there for a while, for a couple of years, but they didn't have a feeder system. They didn't have a junior high program.
Right.
You see these teams like Faith Christian and Bishop McCourt succeeding because they have feeder systems, they have junior high programs, but you can't tell me that, supposedly things that I've heard here and there that, supposedly they have online courses that if you're in their online courses, you can participate in their sports teams.
Oh my God.
So, is it true? I don't know. I don't have the time to dig into that. Plus it's not my coverage area. But it's one of those things where, again, if you don't have a school district boundary, you shouldn't probably be competing against school district boundary teams.
Yes.
Totally agree.
This year with the whole Laurel Highlands absolving or dissolving or sucking in the Mountain League, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They're going to have a Laurel Highlands conference championship at the beginning of January in Tyrone, that the winners of the weight classes are going to be the Laurel Highlands Conference All-Stars.
I see. So
It's
there's going to be a lot of McCourt All-Stars.
Well, but not only that, but you got to figure, why are you wrestling the District 6 tournament at the beginning of January when it's just going to occur in the middle of February?
Yeah, makes no sense.
That's basically what it's going to be outside of the addition of like Chestnut Ridge.
Unreal.
So I know a lot of our coaches up this way aren't too happy about it. But you got to play with the cards that are dealt. And
Yeah.
now will you tie in, will McCourt send their guys to that? They might not.
Might not. No.
Why would we do that? You know, would some of the non-parochial schools, like the Penns Valleys, the Bellefonts, the Mifflin counties, or well, I guess not Mifflin County, but the other schools down in this way, do they send their top people to that? Because what's the point?
There is no point.
Are you really want to just be named a Laurel Highlands All-Star?
No. No.
I personally don't. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting year because not only do you got the guys, but you got the girls this year too. First ever season.
Yeah, which is cool.
Very, very cool. It's very cool. So I've had to kind of alter my writing to incorporate the girls because it shouldn't be this way. The girls should have always had equal press, because girls wrestling has been around. They just didn't have teams to participate on. They were with the guys. But I made a point making sure at the end of last year, being that that PIAA was more than likely going to get their heads in right shape and do something right for once for student athletes. And I covered the girls' championships the day after the boys got all wrapped up, and now this year we get to see the girls and the boys at the same time. So I know there's old people, the older people
old school are going to go, no way.
Old people are like, no, the girls shouldn't be wrestling, this, that, and other thing. It's like, listen, everybody should be entitled to have the same.
Right. I got to tell you how hard it is to let go of stuff. I have some old timers go, it still should be only the regional champion goes to states. That's it. Like the old days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had it during COVID. Super regionals.
They were fun. They were fun. We got to see District 7 up at Altoona, and we saw just how bad we really are against them.
I don't know.
But I did see the rankings on this, and you're right about the private schools and Catholic schools and Christian schools, because especially in AA, top 5 teams in the state in AA.
Wait, let me guess. Can I guess?
Number 1.
I haven't seen them. It's Faith Christian.
Yes. 2.
Probably Notre Dame Green Pond.
Yes. 3.
Maybe McCourt.
Yes. You're doing well. Number 4. This is the toughie. This is the one I didn't get. I got 4 of the 5.
Give me the district as a clue.
Okay, I will do that. 3. And it's not McDevitt.
It's AA.
Yep.
Ooh.
McDevitt is AA, but it's not them.
District 3 AA. Holy man, I don't even I don't know.
Berks Catholic.
Oh yeah, Berks. I don't know why I was thinking they were AAA. Okay.
And then 5, District 3. We just mentioned them.
Oh, McDevitt. Okay. McDevitt.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the top 5 teams in AA. All private or Catholic schools. And, of course, number 1 in triple is Bethlehem Catholic.
Right.
But they are the only one in the top 5 that's a private school.
But you know what? Got to give props to Bethlehem Catholic. I say that because now I sound like I'm going against what I just said, but they should be down at AA, but they wrestle up.
Oh yeah, they're a AA team.
So
they choose to go up.
But again,
which my alma mater, Bald Eagle area, used to be that. Double H used to go up, and now they've gotten wimpy. I don't like that. I'm a traditionalist. They should be in AAA. Dick Rhodes always had us in AAA, never AA.
Right. Well, I know Bellefonte wasn't happy about being down in AA. So,
here, you give me your opinion on that. I would want to be AAA. It's easier to get through.
Yeah, it's for now.
Yeah, I mean they take less guys. I understand that, but it's so easy to get through. You saw that last year. There was guys that had buys into the finals.
Yeah, yeah, that's for now because I got to pick Phil Riccio's ear at the District 6 AA title game when Bald Eagle was playing Richland, and he said that this might be the last year that the Northwest Regional might be around because there's not that many teams.
Wow.
Yeah, so it might get dissolved, and some teams might get stuck out with like the Pittsburgh teams, and some teams might get stuck down with like the Harrisburg teams and things like that. So that's why I said for now.
So District 3 and 7 then.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh my God!
Nothing set in stone. I'm not breaking any news.
Right.
I'm just telling you what I heard, but yeah, things aren't looking good for the Northwest AAA Regional.
Honestly, I'd rather go to 3 than 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's switch gears again. You cover football. I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts. Dallas. They were saying that, McDevitt clear every beginning of the year. Nobody's going to stop them, including me. Best quarterback in the state. Nobody's going to stop them. Here comes little Dallas. And they knock them off. What do you think when you saw that?
That's why they play the game. That's all I can say.
Kenny, what'd you think about it, man?
Well, I couldn't believe it. I thought I just thought it was a joke at first, but yeah.
I saw the score and about crap my pants. It's like, oh my God. So give me some.
There's championships this weekend? They're Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So give me some love for Bald Eagle area because I thought Jesse Nagel's team was really an excellent football team this year, and they gave Southern, it was basically only 2 big plays, and that was the game. Yeah.
I mean, I was obviously it was going down the day after Thanksgiving, but I was watching bits and pieces, and to see what the score was, I was like, wow, they really got a shot at this. It's a great team. I mean, they're an older team. They had a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
So not saying that it's going to happen next year, but they could be down next year because of all the seniors that they had. When you had guys like Cale Burns, who, if you just get him the ball,
he
was like the Reggie Bush of high school.
Yeah.
Then you got Cam Watkins, who is, a stellar baseball player who may not even play football at the next level. We're probably going to end up playing baseball. Then Nick Weibel, who really came onto the scene this year. And then you add in Gavin Burns too. So, but you got to give love to those defensive linemen that they had.
There we go. Yeah. Thank you.
Alex Lefebvre and
my.
I mean, those guys were basically like, now I guess you could say to compare it to NFL, it's Chase Young and Nick Bosa for the 49ers.
Yeah, they were beasts this year.
Mm-hmm.
They were. Yeah. I caught a couple games on the stream and just dominant. I mean, you see, like, you go to Max Preps once in a while, look on some teams, you'll see, like, he has 5 tackles for loss, 6 tackles. You see Lefebvre and Clark, and they like 27 and a half tackles for loss.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
That's what was like tough to covering that District 6 title game with Richland, like it was bad. Like nobody saw what happened that night with Bald Eagle just beating up on Richland.
Oh, I know.
But, to the same point, Richland's going to be around for a while because they were young. Their quarterback was a freshman. Their backups, like quarterbacks were freshmen. And they ran into an injury bug where the quarterback that played that night in the District 6 title game, he was their starter all year long. He was just coming back from an injury. So he really couldn't throw the ball, so they were really limited to running the ball. Well, when he got hurt early in the year, they brought in a guy that was playing receiver as the quarterback. He came in, I guess, and from what I was told, this is from Mike Mastovich up at the Tribune. That guy came in, he got hurt, he broke his leg. So their next option was a lineman who played quarterback in junior high.
Oh, wow.
So their quarterback was lining up on the center with like a 68 on his jersey.
Oh, my God.
Well, here, he ended up getting hurt and having his leg broken. And so it was like, you didn't want to be a Richland quarterback this year because your leg was probably going to get broke.
Well, yeah, they do have tradition. Bald Eagle, Richland had won 4 straight district titles until Bald Eagle snapped it. But, yeah they've got that tradition there.
Yeah.
The Rams do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be back.
Yeah. Like I said, they're real young. Richland's real young.
So did you cover State College at all, football?
I got to cover them in the district title game against Altoona down Hall.
Was Sheffy hurt this year?
Yeah.
Because he was nothing like last year.
He didn't play in the title game.
Yeah. I mean, he was
on
nothing.
Crutches. He was on crutches in the title game.
Wow. Then that explains it.
Yeah, because I was walking, obviously I graduated from Hollidaysburg, so I know the field real well, of course. But, I was walking, went down and talked to Lynn Tall, to let him know I was there and whatnot. And I was just getting ready to walk off. I was getting ready to walk to go up to the press box. And I look over, and I know what Dante looked like from last year, covering him last year. Saw this kid on crutches. Look back at Lynn Tall. I said, Matt, who's on crutches? He goes, a player. I'm like, I said, is that Sheffy? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay. So yeah, he didn't play in the District 6 title game. So
that explains how
this was not your typical State College team either, because for them to go and get beat up by McDowell like they did.
Yeah. It was a stunner.
Yeah. So
I got to change gears one more time. And I'm gonna have a cuss word here, Kenny.
Go for it.
And I'm gonna get you and Nate's opinion on it.
Oh, okay.
But leaving Florida State out of the playoffs is horse shit. Is horse shit. And I don't care if they have their 4-string quarterback. You did what you were supposed to do, undefeated. And this was let's kiss Nick Saban's ass one more time because they get the ratings and the money and put them in.
Well,
give me your thoughts.
Have you seen all the conspiracy theories about that?
Oh, man, my God. It's like every year, holy shit, we got to get an SEC team. We got to get an SEC team in there. Come on. Let's punish a team that went undefeated in a Power 5 conference. First time it's ever happened where a Power 5 undefeated was left out of the tournament.
Well, and wasn't that the original reason for them to go to this system, was to make
sure
everybody would be represented?
It was, but you look at that like Brian, you're saying, they're conference champion. Well, the 2016 Penn State Big Ten champions are in the same boat. Granted, they weren't undefeated, but they got leapfrogged by an Ohio State team who didn't have a conference championship, but Penn State had the conference championship. So,
yeah, I know. It's like I think the playoff will solve this because there's not going to be a 13th team that's going to be undefeated.
No.
To bitch.
No.
So
the thing is, it was like a perfect storm for this year because it's the last year of the 4-team playoff,
Yeah.
right? But then you go and you have an ESPN, all them guys said it. This is the first year where every Power 5 conference had an undefeated team that was looking to win a conference championship. So somebody was going to get screwed. It didn't matter who it was.
It's just, I'm just like, I don't know. I think the undefeated thing says it all. You got Texas and Alabama that have a 1 in the loss column, and Florida State has a big fat goose egg. And I feel for those kids. I do.
The quarterback got hurt, Jordan Travis. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I think it was either on Twitter or Instagram or something. He came out and said he wished his leg would have gotten broken earlier in the year. So
how sad is that?
So then that way people would have saw that this team was the team without him and that they would have had a shot, But
see, even if they wanted to put Alabama ahead, even if they wanted to put Alabama in for beating Georgia, which was an accomplishment, I'd have left Texas out.
But you can't. You can't do that because Texas beat Alabama.
The Big 12, Alabama's got to go. It's my point.
But everybody loves the SEC, Brian.
Let's kiss Saban's ass.
Yep.
Well, like you just said, it's not going to matter come next year, and Penn State fans can have a sigh of relief because now they won't have to worry about trying to make it into 4 anymore. They'll be able to make it into 12.
See, I've always been controversial. I know it's before your guys' time, but when Penn State beat Georgia for the national championship, I had an SMU shirt made that said the true national champion because they were unbeaten. The only unbeaten in the country. And, who knew they were cheating?
Wasn't that also the team that was paying their players, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since I'm a Ram fan, Eric Dickerson, yes, SMU should have been the champions.
Well, I mean, if you look at that one year too, I think where Penn State won and they weren't crowned the national champion or something. It was Nebraska that was crowned by brother. So, but
that Penn State team in '94 should have won it all. They were just a super team.
Yeah,
they were a super team.
I don't know. It's one of those things where.
And then what was it? The '73 team was undefeated and finished 5th in the polls.
That's, I mean, any way you look at it, it's a lose-lose situation because whether they went to this format to get rid of the computer element because the computer element was always wrong. Well, then now you bring in the human element in when, as humans, we tend to have errors. So what are you going to do? It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah,
but you're not wrong. I mean, the Florida State thing, yeah, it's absolutely sucks. But one of the things too, you got to look at the whole picture and, look at the strength of schedule, who they beat, all that fun stuff. And I mean,
but I do think that the playoffs coming up, thank goodness, are going to solve this. Because like I said, a team that finishes 13th can't bitch because they're not going to be undefeated. They're not.
I just don't understand why it didn't happen sooner.
I know. Yeah. And the way I've heard, since the Pac-12 doesn't exist, except for Pac-2, they're going to take the 5 conference champions, which is Big 12, ACC, Big 10, SEC, and the All-American Conference. And then the rest are going to be 7 at-large that are the highest ranked.
Right. Well, and it's, like I said, I don't know why it didn't happen sooner because you have the FCS level that has been doing it for years.
Yep.
And you see all the incredible stories that come from that. The James Madisons who are now up to Division I, up to the FBS, and, the South Dakota States and the North Dakota States who somebody seems like they can't ever beat them. They somehow get into the playoffs.
I know.
But, yeah, so.
This has been awesome. Our hour flew by. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. So
hey, come back. We'll talk more Penn State wrestling and all this other goodies. Well, we'll bring you back. High school wrestling. We'll be in the thick of things with that. Yeah. And you are going to be Penns Valley Clearfield. When is that?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. And then, Kenny, where are you going to be anywhere?
I think I'm going out to Phillipsburg for wrestling tomorrow.
Who are they getting?
Huntington, I think.
Huntington.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Mounties. They got some good kids. Gable, Hummel.
Yep. Gable, Hummel. You got Fleck. They also got some. They got twin. I don't know if they're twins, but everybody. Because I live in Phillipsburg School District. Everybody's raving about these Eichenlaub brothers. So they were freshman linemen that anchored the freshman team last year, and then they anchored the varsity team this year. So everybody's loving on them. So, but like I said, the girls situation is going to be unique. I think January 9th, PO's girls team is going to wrestle Bald Eagles girls team before the boys wrestle. So
that's cool.
Yep,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Mifflin County Central Mountain. I don't know. Central Mountain's got the ranked 7th in the state. They got 6 ranked kids. With Perry out, would be 7. Mifflin County has had 4, but 2 of them are out. And right now they wrestled Gettysburg and Chambersburg, went 1-1, and they didn't have a 39-pounder, which freaks me out that we can't field a whole team when we have 28 kids out. Jeez. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's always a fun rivalry with Central Mountain, so that's what I got. Huh. But hey, Nate, honestly, thank you. It was fun.
Yes, thanks,
no
Nate.
problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Kenny, I'm sure I'll probably see you around some point on a wrestling mat this year. So,
hopefully, definitely.
You will see me at districts, Nate.
That's where I usually see you, is all the time.
All right, buddy.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
It's being run the same way as it was last year, by the way.
Yeah, every AA, AAA together.
Yep.
Whoopee!
All right, guys. Have a good
All right, buddy.
Hey,
Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
That's Nate Cobler, sports writer for the CDT. We appreciate him being on. Thanks again, Nate. Have a good one.
See you guys.
See ya. All right. Kenny, I know. I'm sorry, man. That was a wrestling conversation.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to drown you out, buddy.
No, you didn't. It was. I like hearing stuff about that. Being a basketball guy, you don't usually get a chance to see what the other side does.
That's really interesting if it ends up being true, because that was he said that on here, that there might not be a Northwest Regional next year.
Wow. How devastating would that be?
That would suck. One of my favorite times is going up the tournament trail, going to Altoona for districts and then regionals. That would be disappointing.
It's like a family reuniting every year.
Yeah. How you been, guys? See if we're still alive. Some of us old timers. I remember going up there, Kenny, and I was the young buck. Like 1992 was my first district I covered. And I was the young newcomer, and now I'm one of the old farts.
You wonder how that happens.
I know. Because Bracken and them retired, and John Dixon, and all of a sudden you look around, it's like, hell. The only guy older than me here is Tom Elling. And the way Tom's going to outlive me too. And he's about 20 years older than me. So, how has the winter been for you so far, besides the cold, as far as sports goes?
Actually, I had to sit out opening day, which was the first time since I started that I haven't been to an opening seasonal game, but started getting better yesterday and did all the tests I needed to pass and everything, and was able to finally get out and see some basketball. So it was nice.
How sick did you get?
For 2 days I did nothing but sleep. Just fell asleep, and my wife just said, just let me sleep through it. I hardly ate anything. Um, Lost my voice, which was if you had talked to my wife, it was a pretty good thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm feeling a lot better now. Turned the corner Sunday, watched football all day. One thing about being sick, sometimes you need an excuse just to lay out and watch the
Oh
NFL.
yeah, take it
Yeah.
easy.
hmm
I'm just glad for you that this thing it's mutated so much. COVID's morphed into pretty
hmm
much just a straight flu.
Well, it was weird because I was lucky enough, knock on wood, I didn't have any COVID. This was my first time
Oh,
getting it. So I
yeah.
had no idea what to do. The last time I had heard or paid attention is you had to go and do all these precautions and masks and the only thing I ended up doing was I just stayed home for 3 days,
Yeah,
you
why
know,
not?
and then it's just amazing how medicine's come in what 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm glad you're on the mend.
oh, thank you.
So I don't assume that you're having
Well,
um a
I
shout out since you haven't been
actually
anywhere.
actually I do.
All right, wait.
I've been lucky enough with the coaches sending me stuff. So,
All right, hold on. We got to do the COVID version of feeding the ducks. It's time for the segment of feeding the ducks. Kenny's shout outs. All right, Mr. Barner.
all right, here
Whenever
we
you
go.
are ready.
Okie doke. All right, we'll start off with the junior Boys basketball player Wyatt Stoner. Stoner was the leading scorer for Juniata yesterday in their season opener against West Perry, 43 to 38 on Tuesday night. So congratulations, Wyatt. Juniata's off to a good start there. Now we'll go to the Mifflin County boys basketball team,
Gonna
which
ask you about them.
oh my, very impressive. 3 games in, totaled their wins column
Yeah,
for
yeah,
in 3 games. So which was something that you and I didn't see as a possibility. And one of the things that you like when you're in this job is when you're wrong.
yes.
And my shout outs go to basketball players Jaden Bilger, um, Aiden Ativo, freshman Jack Curry, tag selfies with their win against Shipkalimi. Bilger led the way with 18 points. Ativo and Curry added 15, and um, selfies scored 11. So they're 3-0 this year, and keep it going, guys. Great job. Um, and this next one is one of our friends that we've covered for a long time is Jim Fosselman's team, the Juniata girls basketball team. Started the season out 2-for-2, defeated Mifflinburg Monday 38-22, and then defeated Juniata Christian yesterday 51-31. So congratulations, Lady Indians, and keep her going.
You bet.
And now the EJ boys basketball team. Recently, head coach Chris Lennig picked up his first win as a coach against Belleville Mennonite. Their sophomore guard Rhett Smith led all leading scorers with 18, and Nathan Carolus found himself 2 rebounds away from a double-double in only his second varsity start. Senior forward Clark Ritzman filled up the stat sheets all over the place with a 14 point, 6 rebound, 4 assists, 1 block, and 2 steal effort. So, got some good wins here early for the local teams. And then the last one is Penns Valley girls basketball, and they defeated Mount Union 65-22. Ali Romig was the high scorer with 20 points. Ali Dinges was the second leading. Uh, with 12 points, and the sister Scotty was the third high scorer with 10 points. So congratulations, everybody. And that concludes my shout-outs.
Awesome. Yeah, Mifflin County, they've already won more now the start of the season than they did all of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they're happy. They're pumped.
Yes.
So, yeah, awesome. All right. Anything else, my friend?
No, I can't think of anything. Really good show.
Yeah. I mean, you know how I could talk wrestling for hours. You know that. It's a little interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad Nate came on. It was pretty fun.
Oh, definitely.
I wanted to tell people if I can get this technology figured out,
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a show where we have live call-ins.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I've almost got the technology figured out. I would like to do a live call-in because I know people have different experiences. I would like to do a call-in, just a call-in show with one of the subjects being this Florida State thing.
Uh-huh.
What people think if they, because I'm sure there's some that will agree that Florida State shouldn't be in.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're coming up, and then once again, since we're on here, I wanted to apologize for last weekend. Something was wrong with my Wi-Fi. I could not get going, and I could not stream the wrestling match. I apologize for that. I did on Facebook too, but we'll get something. We will stream something. I promise. All right, that's going to do it. Just a reminder, tomorrow night, if you're in the Mifflin County area, Mifflin County is wrestling Central Mountain up in Mill Hall, District 6 rivals, number 7 Central Mountain against number 18 Mifflin County. We will be broadcasting that on Big Louie at 7 o'clock with the pre-match around 6:45, 6:50. But if you tune in at 6:50 and we're not on, don't freak out, because I've noticed it sometime that this year they've been wrestling a lot of there's the junior high match, then JVs, and then they've been wrestling girls if they don't have a girls team, but there's girls out. So we may come on later, but just wanted you to know that. So tomorrow night, I'll be doing the call, Mifflin County, Central Mountain Wrestling.
Awesome.
And that's what I got going down. And Kenny told you what he's going down. Mm-hmm. And he's going to battle the sniffles and go to Phillipsburg Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friend. I thought it was a good show.
Oh, I loved it. It was a good
show. All right,
show.
That's going to wrap it up for Kenny and I. I'm Brian Carson, my co-host Kenny Varner. Thank you for listening, and tune in again next Wednesday for the Press Box. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.